3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them, in the land of Mordor where shadows lie. Today we'll be discussing a topic that Tolkien fans out there have been debating for decades. What does the One Ring actually do? Let's begin with what we know from the movies. At first glance, it appears that the wearer of the ring is granted invisibility. We see this with both Bilbo and Frodo escaping tight situations by using the ring to disappear. We know the ring does not have this effect on its maker Sauron, which leads us to believe that only mortal beings become invisible when wearing the ring. They become invisible to the living because they enter the realm of the Wraith. Once they enter this realm, they are able to see the Wraiths in their true form. But if they are to remain in this realm for too long, they will eventually become a Wraith themselves, making returning to the world of the living impossible. The power of translation does appear to be granted when wearing the ring. In the Desolation of Smaug, when the dwarves are being attacked by the spiders in Mirkwood, Bilbo appears to hear the chattering of the spiders, but it's not until he puts on the ring that he can understand what they're saying. We also see this with Sam being able to understand the language of orcs. But if all the ring offers is being able to turn invisible and understand foreign tongues, then why are so many eager to possess it? The ring is more powerful in the hands of the immortal beings of Middle-earth, the Maiar as they are often referred to. Rather than granting new powers, the ring enhances the wearer's native power. The dwarven rings help their owners amass great gold, and the elven rings help them preserve the world. This could explain why hobbits turn invisible when wearing the ring. Tolkien often described hobbits as being nimble and stealthy characters. We even see Bilbo being referred to as a burglar throughout The Hobbit. Tolkien even said that this ability that the hobbits possessed was almost magical. So perhaps the invisibility granted by the ring is just an enhancement of the hobbit's abilities. The only non-hobbit character we see using the ring is Tom Bombadil, and yes, he does have powers of his own, but invisibility does not seem to be among them. Sauron forged the One Ring so he could rule over the wearers of all the other rings. Whilst wearing the ring, he could see everything done by those wearing the lesser rings. He could even see and govern the very thoughts of those who wore them. The ring gave Sauron the ability to dominate and control the minds of lesser beings. Sauron infused a part of his soul into the ring, meaning that the wearer is more likely to fall victim to greed and the lust for power, becoming more like Sauron himself. This could also be why the ring seems to betray its owner in its attempts to return to its master. The reason Sauron was not completely destroyed when Isildur bested him was because part of him still existed within the ring, much like the way a Horcrux works in Harry Potter. Tolkien's work could have even been what inspired J.K. Rowling. Immortality to the wearer does seem to be a side effect of the ring, as the ring was created by Sauron, an immortal being who would have no purpose for a ring that grants immortal life. Bilbo and Smeagol do prolong their lives when they are in possession of the ring, but once it is no longer theirs, time catches up with them and they age terribly. To conclude what we've discussed today, the One Ring was made by Sauron, a Maiar, and was intended to be used by only him, an immortal being. In his hands, the ring is capable of terrible things, being able to see and control the thoughts of entire races. In the hands of another Maiar, such as Gandalf, it would enhance his abilities, making him extremely powerful. But the ring would slowly corrupt him, feeding off his darkest desires until the Gandalf we knew was no more. As the ring was not intended for mortals, its effects are unpredictable and can rarely be controlled. You might possess the ability to turn invisible, Or you might unintentionally curse an entire race of people for breaking an oath like Isildur. The corruption of the ring spreads quickly amongst mortals, and many have died because of the power it promises. What about you guys? What powers do you think the ring contains, if any at all? And would you fall victim to the allure of the One Ring?